Hi family, my name is Lydia Mlouhi. I'm the listing agent and customer care liaison of Crown Heritage Homes, and thank you for joining us for another video. Today we're mixing it up a little bit. I know you guys are used to seeing my face, but today we thought it was important to show a very important character of Crown Heritage who mostly works behind the scenes, and that's our founder and CEO, Lydia Mlouhi. She's going to sit here with us today, and we're going to get to know a little bit about her story and what made her start Crown Heritage Custom Homes. To start, Lydia, can you tell us a little bit more about your story?
Sure. I was born and raised in El Paso. I am one of three sisters, first generation Americans. My father was in the construction industry from a very young age. He started as a teenager working as a laborer and eventually became a licensed plumber and then a master plumber and eventually opened his own plumbing company. His specialty was new residential construction. So that it was, I guess, growing up, I grew up in the construction industry.
In the business.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit more about your background? Did you ever see yourself in construction, or did you grow up thinking that you were going to take another route?
So oddly enough, throughout my high school years and my college years, I worked for my father, summers, and while I was going to college, afternoons, I worked in the office, and I always swore that I would never be in the construction industry as my career. I really enjoyed fashion, the creative aspect of fashion, and so my dream was to work for a fashion magazine or a fashion house or be a buyer for a retail store.
Wow.
My parents, not having had the opportunity to pursue a higher education, that was definitely something that they instilled in my sisters and I. It was a requirement. Mm-hmm. I did end up going to UTEP. I earned a degree in business administration, and soon, right after that, I went straight into graduate school, earned an MBA, and thought that I was, once again done with the construction industry.
In general. So it sounds like from a young age you always had maybe like a calling or a passion for creativity and design.
Yes, absolutely.
General.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I never really connected, the construction industry with any type of creative type. I never saw it as an avenue for me to develop or to exercise, my creative side, I suppose. Oddly enough, I do remember growing up, my father would take us as kids to tour, model homes or new homes that he had.
Homes that he had a part in, like
yes, exactly. Build. Yes, he did. He did the plumbing work. He worked with some of the top builders in El Paso as their plumbing contractor. And so we would go and tour these finished homes, and I remember him being so proud of the fact that he had contributed to the construction of these homes.
Wow.
But
enough to take his family to see that.
Actually, yes, and I really, he's always had a strong work ethic and definitely, a big sense of pride. Mm-hmm. In terms of the work that he did. But I do remember I really enjoyed touring the homes. It doesn't make sense, but I actually look forward to touring new homes, and I would memorize floor plans, remember and really pay attention to certain details of homes. And I remember touring a home that was like an hacienda style home with a fountain and a courtyard. And I remember thinking, oh, when I grow up and I have a house, I will have this type of home. And so it is something that, looking back, it did interest me. I didn't realize it, when I was growing up, but I do remember that vividly. Eventually, my father started, growing up, every home that we ever lived in, he was a general contractor for the home, for our personal homes. And he did a lot of the work himself, and then also hired subcontractors. And eventually he started investing in real estate and would buy vacant land and would build homes and sell them. Still, his primary business was the plumbing company, but that
he had that experience and knowledge.
Definitely, years and years. Since he was a teenager, he was working in the construction industry.
Well, that's very interesting, because I think most of us would agree that that's a big change, to have such a calling and interest for fashion and design and then go into home building. When was that point where you decided, okay, I'm going to take this direction with my life instead? Was it one day to the next, or was it more of like a gradual thing?
Well, soon after I graduated from college, I met my now husband, and he's a co-founder of the company. And we actually became entrepreneurs, business owners from the get-go. From day one, we opened, some businesses worked, some didn't. Yes, we opened Western wear store, and then eventually owned, a couple of stores, and ended up closing the stores, and then bought a restaurant and operated the restaurant for several years. And one day, we just kind of started talking about opening a home building company, and we spoke to my father about it. He became our business partner, and then it just went from there. I think initially I saw it as a business venture that could be lucrative, not knowing that would actually end up being my calling. I did enjoy having, the Western wear stores, because it was great, going to market and purchasing clothing, and so did enjoy that. Restaurant business definitely was not our calling. It was a business, definitely. Yes, I absolutely am not a cook.
God bless all you restaurant owners. Yes. It's such a hard industry.
It is a very
you need to have
industry.
That passion
absolutely.
To get through.
Yes, and so we didn't, but it was a good, a good business for us. But without realizing it, I was about to step into really my calling, and really something that I absolutely love. And your dad, the co-founder, Sam, he feels the same way.
So even though you didn't get there as planned, it's like it worked out perfectly for you, almost like it came at the perfect time. But you had to go through those good businesses, bad businesses, ones that failed, to get to your true calling.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that background, Lydia. So in the next video, we're going to talk more about the company in specific. What is Crown Heritage? Where did that name come from? How did this company, what was the initial vision of the company? So make sure to stay tuned to find out more about that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share this video, let us know in the comments what you thought, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.